Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I found another interesting article on Truth Out since I've been talking about the criminal justice system. Not in the South this time. This is Chicago, which has become notorious in recent months due to a lot of commentary by Donald Trump. But interestingly enough, this article is saying how Chicago became the first city to make reparations to victims of police violence. And so, this article describes how one specific person, Lindsay Smith, confessed to a murder he didn't commit. That he had been pistol whipped, stomped on, beaten again and again, and so he was convinced that he would not live through that ordeal. So at the age of 17, Smith signed a false confession to attempted murder of a 12-year-old white boy. And so at that time, at the age of 17, Smith too was a boy, but he was black. So he was tried as an adult under that false confession and then convicted. Smith took a plea deal and served nearly 5 years in prison. So think about that very carefully. There's been reports in recent months claiming that native born American citizens are incarcerated at higher rates than other people who are not American born. But when you look at the issue with our criminal justice system and stories such as this, the fact that Chicago has had to make reparations for police brutality and violence, and then misconduct in the criminal justice system, and then mass incarceration of innocent people, there's more to the story. And so Smith, this person that I described, was among the first of at least 120 young, primarily black men who Chicago police officers would torture into false confessions. And so, although many who suffer brutality at the hands of the police, some of them never get justice, or actually many never get justice, Smith's story ends differently. According to this article, more than 40 years later, following the passage of historic reparations legislation, Smith became one of the first black people in America to be granted reparations for racial violence. And so this article just goes on to describe his life after he served his time. That he got parole, he moved out of the city, and tried to rebuild his life after it had been ruined underneath that beating and then false confession and then conviction that he's had. That conviction is still on his record. He's had difficulty from finding work to getting car insurance, and that he's still haunted by what happened. And so on May 6, 2015, the city of Chicago signed into law an ordinance granting cash payments, free college education, and a range of social services to 57 living survivors of police torture. And so this has been explicitly defined as reparations. The ordinance also includes a formal apology from Mayor Rahm Emanuel and a mandate to teach the broader public about the torture through a memorial and public schools curriculum. And so this is the first and thus far only municipality in the country to pay reparations for racist police violence. I'm going to leave an article in the description so people can learn more about this issue, the overall background, and the expansion of the issue behind the mass incarceration rate of certain groups of people native born in North America, and how it's affected their life, and the solutions that are hard won that have been found, that those lost years can never come back. But the admission of what happened is the first step, and the acknowledgement. And I think people do need to do that. Good luck.